Hello guys!
Hi, voiceover Ophelia here. So, it's been such a long time since I've spoken to a camera in English that I wasn't able to form actual sentences. Also, I was planning to vlog but ended up shooting silent clips because I cannot speak to the camera in front of strangers yet. So, enjoy this trip of me in Athens while I'm narrating from here, explaining where the F I've been all this time. Okay, let's roll the usual intro. So going to Athens for a weekend was a spur-of-the-moment decision. Some of my friends were going and I decided to tag along. And I mean, why not? This summer has been such an emotional roller coaster for me. I've been feeling shitty for weeks, I've been really depressed, I've lost my appetite, I've lost weight, I've lost my creativity and parts of myself, so I thought, hey, if I'm gonna be depressed, I can at least be depressed in Athens. Which, by the way, I visited so many European capitals, but not the one in my own country. Kinda embarrassing. I'm 25 and never been to the Acropolis, so yeah, now is the time, I thought to myself. To be frank, it's been over a year since I've been somewhere abroad and I really miss it. Athens was like a placebo because it felt like I was somewhere foreign without crossing any borders. But I am still feeling kinda guilty for not going anywhere fun and weird for this summer. I really wanted to go to northern Italy. I wish it was June all over again, but yeah, it ain't gonna happen. It is time lost forever. Not gonna sugarcoat it. This summer sucked. So anyway, traveling. It's really important to me, because when you pack lightly. You cannot put the sadness and gloom in your luggage, because that shit's heavy and you'll have to pay extra for that. So you leave it behind and go someplace else and get to be fun and curious and touristy for a couple of days. Sometimes you even forget you have a life behind, you're just a person in a place living in the moment. And then you return, you go in your room, and guess who's waiting for you in your bed? You guessed it right, your best friend, Mr. fucking Sadness. And they're like, hey motherfucker, I've missed ya. And you're like, ugh. If only romantic partners were this loyal and consistent. But I digress. Being in Athens brought back my appetite for food, since I just wanted to try things. And I ended up being hungry for food and my body was asking for it, so that's good. Because the past 2 days I hadn't slept much, hadn't eaten much. Basically, I was a walking corpse, just existing out of spite and my curiosity to see how low my rock bottom's gonna go. Because it doesn't have a constant floor, it just gets lower and lower and lower every time. Someone called Jules Verne, cause I'm on a journey to the center of the earth. So, to summarize our first day in the beautiful capital of Greece: walk, walk, food, more food, an existential crisis, walk, cafe, walk, Airbnb. Oh, by the way, our Airbnb had an insane view of the Acropolis. That night I fell asleep watching the lights all around the Parthenon and felt like I was in a movie, a romantic coming-of-age one, because the rest of my life is like a comedy drama lately. The next day we went to some vintage stores to browse around all dusty, crusty, probably dirty stuff. Jokes aside, I found a lot of hidden gems in there, especially old books dated back in the 20s and 30s. Books written in French or German with beautiful Gothic fonts, having ancient inscriptions in calligraphy written by people who are long gone. And these books ended up in my hands. The hands of a depressed, edgy millennial who keeps a lot of dead insects in her room and eats a lot of avocados. So yeah, I like old things, they tell stories. Just imagine how many hands have touched them. Well, not the best thought to make whilst in a pandemic, but you get my point. Maybe I relate to all things. I too have been called an old soul as a child by stupid chick pincher adults. Which, by the way, growing up, you come to the scary realization that being called an old soul as a child meant that you're just a child with depression. Ta-da! No child should have to think like an adult or have dark thoughts and feel this existential dread and nothingness and why the hell am I going to school? It doesn't make any sense, we're just born to die. Okay, this took a dark turn, apologies. In all seriousness, sometimes it makes me feel strong, unique, special, and other times I just wanna be at peace. I wanna be happy. I am a girl in red album because I wanna make it go quiet inside. So I went to the Acropolis that afternoon by myself, which a few years back would have triggered my social anxiety, but living abroad for 10 months in the middle of the pandemic helped me win that battle. Now it's time to win the war, but that's a problem for my future self. Hashtag procrastinating much? Growing older made me realize how nice it feels to be by myself, taking myself on a date or for a walk or even solo traveling. It just feels more exciting, you know? I don't have to compromise, I don't have to follow a schedule, I just exist in a beautiful place, admiring in silence. Someone told me recently, it's weird to walk around alone, and in that case, so be it. Yeah, I might be borderline antisocial, I act like an old hag sometimes, but I like it, that I feel confident and safe in my body to take myself places without needing the existence of others. I feel wiser, I feel mature, I feel like a sexy ripe tomato. I don't know where I was going with this analogy. So there I was at the Parthenon, surrounded by tourists, being a tourist myself. Being a tourist in my own country, taking selfies and videos just to remember this moment in time when I felt like this. I wanted to remember this version of myself who stared at the ancient ruins while the sun was setting. Which didn't last long. A lady with a bell came to inform us that they were closing. It was the second time in my life when I felt like a goat. So that was my escape from sadness weekend in Athens, and it was nice, but like all the nice things, it came to an end, which triggered my fear of abandonment, but it's a good practice. Recently, I've been throwing away most of the dead flowers in my room because I want to accept the fact that when something dies, you need to let it go. Just keep the memories and move on. I know it's gonna be okay, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but as long as I have a pulse, I'll be here to tell my stories. I'll see you around, my friend.